Life is a roller coaster. I've had my share of ups and downs. I've had my ass kicked. Just a few examples. I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I've been bitten, not by my dogs, of course. 2 3-year-long illnesses, both times pronounced terminally ill. One was stage 4 lung cancer, and then part and parcel of that, I created so much that came with it. Homelessness, severe drug addiction, horrible depression, isolating myself from everybody I know and love, and going through it all alone. Except, of course, for my beloved pit bulls. They've kept me alive. It's been a wild and crazy ride, but honestly, it's been one hell of a blessing. My friends, my dear friends, the WWE superstars, UFC icons and legends, the leaders of the Hells Angels, the Navy SEALs, spiritual leaders, movie producers, musicians, they say I've used up my 9th life, but I know that I have one more left, and it's gonna be the best one yet. Life's simple these days. It's just me and my pups and doing the best I can for myself, for my dogs, of course, and for as many people as I can. Part of that is I love doing my podcasts. I'm told they're equal parts inspiration and entertainment. It makes me feel like I get a chance to give something back. So my greatest hope and my biggest goal are one and the same, to take all these ups and downs and combine these experiences into something that looks like hope, strength, maybe even a little bit of wisdom. It'll all be in my book, Little Big Man, and that drops later this year. Until then, please join me on my YouTube channel at Rick Bassman, and please subscribe or listen on your very favorite podcast platform. 3 new podcasts every week, 1 each of the Cancer Warriors, the Pitbull Podcast, and Talking Tough. Wow, well, that's a long video, and that's even before you get to the glitches. Wow, okay. I may have to rethink that. Erica,
We're
Jungle Girl.
live. We're supposed to have some glitches.
Oh, please. I feel like after watching that I've said as much as I should for the next hour. So take it away, please. Oh my God. Hi,
Well,
how are you?
I'm amazing. I think, we're talking about wrestling with cancer here, and we're going to get into the cancer journeys. And I think understanding the uniqueness of each person's cancer journey is crucial, because obviously it provides insights that vary from one individual to another. However, I think that the key aspect lies in each of their mindsets and post-diagnosis choices. So opting to manage what they can control and shaping their own narrative. And hopefully that is the takeaway from today. That is my hope from today. Whether somebody is dealing with a cancer diagnosis or just something that is troubling in their life, is understanding that we have choices, and the choices that we make will determine ultimately our outcome in life, period.
I think that's a great, amazing motivation for wanting to do what you do in life every day, and wanting to do what we're doing here tonight, hopefully.
Absolutely.
I'm super excited about this. As you know, we'll get into this. I came from a different place than you, and how I treated my cancer when I first had it, doing it differently now, I like to think. I think a lot of people with cancer or major challenges, if looking on the negative side of things sometimes, can label themselves, depressed, terminally ill, and which is a diagnosis I never agree with, drug addicted, isolated, other labels that come with bad, negative experiences, homeless. And I've been all those things. And here I am home now with my beautiful pit bulls and getting to spend time with you. This is amazing. So the point is that I'm hoping to let people know that whatever their experience is, there's another side to it. There's always a way out of it, and a way to a positive life, no matter what you're experiencing. Myself, stage 1 brain cancer now, and aside from being sick, I'm doing great. So some of that hope and strength to whoever happens to join us tonight.
Well, that's the goal, right? Is to really to inspire, to empower and inspire people through, I mean, we know our own experiences, right? What we know is relative to what we're dealing with. But I think sometimes different messages, depending on who you hear it from, who's delivering it, the way in which they deliver it, it might be the same message, but it might resonate differently. And so the goal, having all of these different people on together, is that their story, their outlook on life will resonate with somebody. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I know each of their stories, but I'm really excited to hear the choices after diagnosis and the decision to take action and to control the controllables. That's the exciting part for me. Because listen, we talked about it before. We're all terminal. Each and every one of us, we're not making it out of this thing called life alive, right? We just don't know when that day is. So we have decisions to make. And we've talked about this too. We either choose to allow the world to impact us, or we make the choice to impact the world. So which of those two people are you going to be?
So beautifully said. And that said, we scored. We have great guests on tonight. I mean, what an interesting what an interesting collection of people from different backgrounds and different walks of lives. Of course, we all share this one wacky thing in common, and that would be professional wrestling. But everybody has made a name in the business in their own way. But in my mind, from getting, some have been friends for a long time, others are new friends. But what I know of each does make their own unique impact in this world. And I think, I know I don't want to hear myself talk anymore. I could listen to you all night, but I think we should bring our guests on and let's hear, as you were saying, let's hear their story and their perspective on how to handle this thing that we call cancer.
Yeah.
So with that, let's go to our first guest. This gentleman is, I'm happy to say, a new friend of mine. And I love this freaking guy immediately. Aside from the fact that he's bald and ugly like myself, he's actually much better looking than I am, but that's all right. He's such a good dude. This guy is incredibly smart. But what I really gravitated toward is he's so humble and so real at the same time. And I love the way he's faced his challenge. And I think he'll inspire a lot of people. So let's bring on, all the way from the other side of the country for me in your neighborhood, none other than the cancer fighter, Sean Wachter.
Rick, Erica, Rick, you almost had me do a spit take of water all over my screen. So, but that was one heck of, not of an introduction for me, but that introductory video that you had going, that was awesome, man. That was a real testament to some of the stuff that you've been through. And one of the reasons why, I've always been a fan of yours and admired the heck out of you. So that was awesome. But, I guess to tell your listeners a little bit about myself, at the age of 31 years old, I was diagnosed with a rare form of melanoma. It was a stage 4 melanoma with leptomeningeal disease. And leptomeningeal disease happens in less than 5% of all melanoma cases. And in most, if not all, diagnosis of leptomeningeal disease, it is terminal, where you have a median survival of 12 weeks. Fortunately, and I still get used to saying this, I am the only documented cured case of my cancer on record right now. And I have been getting to work with many wonderful cancer organizations that are going to help try to use some of the research that was used on me to try to figure out exactly like how I became one of one. Because when you're in my situation, obviously you don't want to be the one of one. You want to be one of many, and then hopefully we get to a point where this disease is cured. But to give a takeaway to your audience, I would say that some of the most important things that occurred to me in the beginning of my cancer journey, as far as making decisions as to what the next move for me was going to be mentally, was, first off, I knew from the moment I had to have radiation done on the brain tumor that I had, and I saw the pediatric oncology patients there, I knew that I could not feel sorry for myself. I had made every mistake a 31-year-old man could make at that point. And seeing those young children there with parents no older than me just made me think for myself, how dare you ever feel sorry for yourself? And then the second benchmark moment that I'll mention is I was laying in my parents' house and I was listening to YouTube, and I came across a motivational speaker named Inky Johnson. And Inky Johnson was a cornerback for the University of Tennessee. He basically was about a few games away from being a guaranteed millionaire because he was projected first-round draft pick in the NFL draft. He just needed to make the rest of the season. And like I said, guaranteed millionaire, came from a poor socioeconomic background and basically was responsible for trying to move his entire family out of those poor circumstances into a better life. And making that routine tackle, he wound up severing an artery and a major nerve in one of his arms. And the doctor told him, young man, your football career is most certainly over. Unfortunately, your life might be over as well. And at that moment, Inky said, he realized it wasn't about him, or it's not about you, because if he would have thrown in the towel at that moment, he would have basically been saying to his grandmother, well, your grandson is gone. To his mother, you're going to lose your son. To his brothers and sisters, you're not going to have your brother anymore. So he realized he didn't just have a responsibility onto himself to keep going, but he had a responsibility to others around him to continue to be there for them. So that was point number 2. And the last point that I'll make, and I'll leave your listeners here and let the rest of the people here have the floor, is I remember when I was going into this that I said to myself, you have to make a choice, and it's going to either be yes or no, live or die. And by dying from cancer, they say you don't lose the cancer when you die. And this will be my quote here from the late, great Stuart Scott of ESPN. When you die, it doesn't mean you lose the cancer. You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and the manner in which you live. And that was basically what I adopted. And I'm proud to say that I've done more living in the 7.5 years after I've been diagnosed with cancer than I did in the previous 31 years. So if any of the folks out there listening that are dealing with this, I hope if there's a takeaway from me, you can see that there's life during and after cancer. Just keep making your plans, keep living your life, keep being yourself, because our doctors can be wrong and we can get that second chance. It's a matter of having things in place to do, and it doesn't need to be wrestling. Just get back out there and keep living your life. Don't give up on your dreams. And if somebody could take something away from me and keep on chasing their dreams, or live a little bit fuller, fight a little bit harder, then everything I've been through, it's been worth it, and I'd do it all again tomorrow. So thanks, guys, for giving me this opportunity to share my stories with not only you and the other men and women in this group that, quite frankly, I'm so honored to be a part of. But just thank you all.
Thank you, Sean. That was beautiful, and that's a perfect segue, because please stay with us, Sean. We're gonna have each person tell their story, and then we'll all be on together, and we'll have this great fun group. I don't know if you can put the words cancer and fun together or not. I think we can tonight. I'm positive we're going to do that. We're in every time zone in the U.S. This group, and I realize that.
Wow.
So now moving from the West Coast to the East Coast, and now back west again, but to Mountain Time. Let's bring on a long time good friend of mine. I'm happy to say we've recently gotten back in touch, and I remembered why I always loved this person so much. Just her love for life, who she is as a person, from the original Glow Girls, none other than Patricia Summerlin, otherwise known as Sunny.
Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, what a great introduction. And Erica, I have to say hats off to WOW, because we've got it like that. WOW is now the takeover from Glow. Every bit of it. You guys are awesome. I've been there. I commended David McLean on the wonderful work. So I just wanted to say that.
It all starts somewhere, though.
Yeah.
So,
oh, yeah. Oh,
it all has its origin story, right? So without Glow, there's no WOW.
This is true.
It
I
is true
really feel
first.
old, but yeah, that's for sure. Gosh, what a great story. Thank you for sharing. And thank you, Rick. What a great intro. Amazing. Hats off to you. And I know you got it, because it's all about how we think. But real quick with my story, I was diagnosed in 2020 with lymphoma in my implants, which it was a quick surgery out, explants. They go, the lymphoma was around the casing. Scared the crap out of me because that's breast cancer, right? I lost my sister to breast cancer. So I'm like, those are gone. But the real scare was what happened in 2021. I was diagnosed with colon cancer. So March 3rd, diagnosed, major surgery, April 1st. I was given 5 years to live. And I was a baby face and glow. And I said, now I'm half an ass because they cut out all my guts to save me. Half my rectum, half my colon is gone. So from that point, I'm like, oh my God. Well, I look at the bright side. I don't have a bag outside. They saved me from that because they told me I'd have that, and you have to deal with those things, right? I was in diapers and I used to joke about, hey, when we get old, we're going to be in Depends. I was in Depends forever for like 2 months. I couldn't live without a diaper, right? And so you always have to be careful and always like, God, I can't believe I used to joke about that. Look what happened. So it changes your life effectively, but how you move forward is what's here and what's here. And my spirit, my faith in God, he's been there. I've had fantastic doctors, fantastic. I wasn't happy with what they tell you, but they tell you because they don't want you to be in shock when something really does happen. You're like, okay, wait a minute, 5 years? I went in and joked about it with him and he's like, here's a box of tissue. You're going to need it. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm going to be fine. At the end of that, I was bawling. I'm like, oh my God, I could really die here. No, this is not cool. So, and then I had cervical cancer. I just had surgery in August of this year for that. They found cells, moved past, scraped 1, 2, 3. I had moderate cells gone. I go back in April to see where I'm at with colon cancer, because as you know, or if you don't know, colon cancer likes to strike back in the first 3 years with a vengeance. So I'm still here and I'm going to move forward. And with all of you and everybody that currently is fighting or is being faced with it, that's why we're here, to share our story and to help others.
So good to see you. You have a message from Ron Tilley there, Sonny. Thank you.
My gosh. Oh, thank you for sharing.
And he's asking what keeps us having a positive and upbeat mental attitude. And Ron, if you'll hang with us after we each do our individual stories, that's what we're going to be absolutely focused on tonight, to convey some of our tools that keep us positive, hoping to influence others to adopt those same tools and to learn from you guys too, because I'm sure many of you out there know things that we don't. And Amanda, thank you. Amanda says your stories are amazing. You're about to start chemo again. We're making you feel stronger, man. If we can do that for you, Amanda, that just made all of this.
Oh, yes.
So glad to hear. Our pleasure. And prayers to you, Amanda. Eric, that looks like Eric. That's an inside note for Erica. So we have two more gentlemen.
I don't know who that is.
We have two more guys to bring on tonight, and they're both also new friends. And these guys both have very, very unique and different stories and personalities. I don't know how you introduce who first.
I don't know. Let's do it alphabetical order.
You're right. You're right. And that's kind of, so alphabetical order by last name. I think that's very diplomatic. Thank you, Jungle Girl. The next man we're to bring on tonight, who's an old school fan of pro wrestling? I am. I came up in the territory days. I was one of those guys who would race to the newsstand when that was still a thing and buy every new issue of The Wrestler and Inside Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Illustrated. And I was such a fan of guys all around the world that you could only access through these magazines. There are a lot of guys that made impressions on me back in those days. Bruno Sammartino, John Polis, and the list goes on and on. One gentleman I always remember looking at and going, oh my God, this guy is freaking scary. This is the real deal. What do you say other than this guy was the pro wrestler's wrestler? He also, I've learned, has an alter ego. He is just a super nice guy. Very, very committed to his battle. He's going through it right now, just like I am and some others here are. And without further word, let me introduce my good friend, Rick Harris, otherwise known as Black Sword. Rick,
you guys are tremendous. I've been sitting here listening, and I was diagnosed in March a year ago, and March, and when they sit you sit down in front of a doctor, and after I've been around the world. I've been around the world 3 times. I was going to go one more time, and I decided, hey, I may be too sick to do this, and I sat down in front of the doctor. And he said, "No, you got stage 4 rectal cancer, and we think that it's attacked your liver." And I'm sitting there, and I said, you think to yourself, well, dead gum, what happened to stage 1 and stage 2 and stage 3? I didn't get none of that. I said, I got stage 4 all of a sudden. And I said, yeah, it's kind of like a promoter just walking in the dressing room, dropping a world strap on your bag and say, you're the world heavyweight champion. And I said to myself, I sat down. Of course, I started crying, I started bawling like a little whipped pup, and knowing some of the stuff that my dad had. Nobody had any kind of cancer that I know of. My dad had a cancer, some kind of in his lung from spray painting horse trailers and stuff like that. But as far as no history in my life, in my family or anything like that. But the next deal was we go down, and I had a mass at my rectum, and back in 2015, it was a doctor was supposed to took that all out, and he said that it was all gone, no cancer, everything was good, benign, and everything else. And well, I'll fast forward to 2023, and it's the same mass has grown back, and I've got cancer, and it's attacking my liver, and we got to start chemo, and I did 15 sessions of chemo, and I know each and every one of y'all know what I'm talking about the chemo, chemo. I asked the doctor after about that 13th, 14th session of chemo, I said, well, what kills you first, the cancer or the chemo? That stuff is, it's the worst. I thought it was the worst dadgum thing I ever had to deal with. And I found out, a couple months later, I'm taking chemo pills, and 4 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, only when I have radiation, and I take my radiation Monday through Friday. So, I have had never attack my back. I'm talking about the cancer. I'm talking the going from riding in a car maybe 80 miles a week to 500 miles a week, because they're remodeling the center where I go to. It's called the Center, and it's in Weatherford, Texas, and they're remodeling. So I have to drive 60 miles one way and 60 miles back home to get to just get the radiation, and that's killing me. The table, man, is like I call it a torture rack. but I want to say there ain't no such thing as a good thing about cancer. You can take it however you want to put it. It's just like also the first lady had on there, Erica. I can't read the deal. She said that that it don't ever go away. It's always there. It's always present. Even though once you're diagnosed with it, that's it. You're gonna have it, and they can put it in submission. They can put it. There are all kinds of stuff they can do that they couldn't do 10 years ago. Now they can do it. They can stop it, and but my hat is off to and my first wife, she died, but I used to have to carry her to the VA hospital, and you go over there to that VA hospital, and you see guys laying on table, no legs, no arms. He's operating a table with his mouth, with a deal in his mouth, operating a table, running up and down the hallways, chasing nurses. Stuff like that. You don't get to see, and we need to see, and we need to realize more and more that to all the people out there that's got cancer, you got to fight. And the day you give up is a day that you're deader than Kelsey's nuts. Excuse my friend, but you got to keep fighting. You got to keep punching, get knocked down on the mat. You got to kneel, drop down, one tackle, get her again. And that's and I don't want to take too much time. And I know you got another guest, and I just God bless everybody. And I'm proud to be on this panel and talk bad stuff about cancer, because there ain't nothing good about cancer.
You might
I
have
give
the
it up
best
to you,
quote.
Rick.
You got the best quote of the night. You got the best quote.
I'm sorry, no. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean for it to be, but just ad libbing, I guess. I don't know.
You just got to promote on Cancer's ass is what you did.
Yeah, that's got to go on a T-shirt. Get this man a Pro Wrestling Tees store.
Yeah, I agree. That was great. Yeah.
Bart, it's great. It's great to have you here, man. We've been talking on the phone a bit. It's good to see you. I'm really glad you're able to join us tonight. And please stay with us. We're going to have a lot of questions for you when we get into the group discussion. And with that, our last guest, and far from least, is another new friend. Happy to call him a new friend. This guy, oh man, this guy's been in the media lately. I don't want to give away the finish, but I'm going to. So we all have cancer here. And then he just gets carjacked in the middle of it. I mean, wow. So,
Oh, no.
what else? What's next in life, right? But there's a lot to this gentleman's story. I won't say any more. We'll let him tell it. Our new friend, representing the National Wrestling Alliance and other great promotions from around the world, Darnell Cottrell, BLKGs.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me again. What's going on, everybody?
What's happening, G?
Jeez.
Hey, geez.
So last year in March, I started experiencing crazy back pain. And no matter what I tried to do to get over it, nothing was happening. And I mean, when you're a wrestler and you have bumps and bruises, when you have pains, you pretty much just deal with it, or you do whatever you would normally do to get over it, But no matter what, the pain just was not going away. And it got to the point where I couldn't move. So then my fiance, she was just like, no, we're going to the emergency room. I'm like, okay. So we go to the ER. They did blood tests and everything. And then they told me I had multiple myeloma. And I never heard of it. I didn't know what it was. So when it was explained to me, it took a while to click into my head to have cancer. And I know no one in my family has ever had cancer. It was something that I never experienced. So once things became real for me, that's when it got scary. I got really scared. And I went to it was a point where it affected my back so much that at first I couldn't even walk. I had to use an assisted walker, and that started getting depressing. And then I remember one morning I get out of bed, I look in the mirror, and like I looked at myself, and like I was just at rock bottom, because like all of the like work that I did as far as like getting in the gym and working on my body and everything, because you know, with wrestling, every big part of wrestling is about how you look. It's about your look. So when I saw that I had lost everything, that's when I got extremely scared. That's when I got depressed, and like no matter what anyone said to me, I was just down. I was just like down for the count, man. For me, like the major part of this was the mental thing. The pain wasn't eventually the pain wasn't really affecting me as much as the mental thing. Like I was just like completely down. And I'm someone that I was never really ever sick in my life. I never really had any issues with like mental health or anything, but that affected me so much. And like I'll be honest, man, like through the process, there was a time where I was so dark that like I isolated from my family, and it was at a point where I didn't want to be here anymore, you know. And that was the first time I ever felt that way in my entire life, and it really scared me. One night I was just like done. I was done, and like I sent a text to my cousin, and that I feel like that was it for me. I just sent a text to my cousin. It was a long text, and like I was done. That was it for me. And I feel like and I sent it, and maybe like 2 minutes later my cousin called me, and I feel like, you know, that was God looking out for me, because if my cousin didn't call me, I don't know what I would have done, you know. But he called me, kept me on the phone for like 2.5 hours. We were just talking, and my cousin just pretty much talked me off the ledge. And then like that talk with him, that started turning things around a little bit mentally. And then I just started reaching out to my friends more, because throughout the process, my friends, they would always check up on me and make sure I'm good and everything to keep me positive. And there would be times where I'd say, yeah, I'm good. And I wasn't good. You know, I just wasn't sharing it with them. And like, I'm the type that I'm so used to doing for everyone else that I had to adjust. I had to realize that I'm the person that needs the help now. People have to help me. And it was tough dealing with that. But like I said, eventually, um, I started I started getting it back together mentally, and you know, and just like consistently reaching out to my support system, my friends, my family, and they were keeping me positive. I would get messages from you know, from fans or whatever, and like my whole NWA family, they were reaching out to me every day, and I just realized that, I mean, I have cancer now. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. I'm just gonna have to keep fighting. And then, you know, I went through you know, I had my treatments and everything. Eventually, it's in remission now, but from like April all the way up to like October, it was rough mentally. It was like really tough. I mean, nowadays I feel good. I feel like myself again. Um, I feel good, but like reliving it, I have that fear. I get a little scared, and I don't have an issue with talking about it ever. But it's like just like reliving it it scares me. But then I think about where I started to where I'm at now, because I pretty much had to learn how to walk again. Like I said, I was using an assisted walker, and then like my body was just like broken down. And then once I got over it mentally and started getting back in the groove, then I was able to, you know, get a clear head and everything. But man, it was extremely rough, man. I didn't handle it well at all. And like, I'll just keep saying it, man. I'm glad and I'm happy and I'm thankful that I had a lot of good people in my corner keeping me positive and making sure that I was good. Because if I didn't have that, I would not be here anymore. You know.
Well, thanks for sharing your story. And I think it's really important that you point out some of the things you're pointing out, like support system, where you are mentally. And I think once we start our group discussion, It'd be a great topic to let people know, at least in our opinions, what we think you need to put in your tool chest to combat this to your best abilities.
Right.
Erica, Jungle Girl, may we hear your cancer story, please?
Oh, you want to hear my story?
Yes.
Love to.
Yes. So I was feeling a little off. I was actually wrestling in December of 2019. Was not feeling like myself, but still kicking ass in the ring. I had come home still feeling a little bit off. In February, March, I was starting to have shortness of breath. I had a mass on my breast that was getting larger, but I kind of dismissed it. I had had it looked at 5 years previously, and they told me that it was, just fatty tissue, nothing to worry about. I was lumpy, don't worry. So I ignored it. And it wasn't until June of 2020 when I just couldn't ignore it anymore. I went in and they did an ultrasound of that mass. And in that very moment, she said, "You have cancer." So I was by myself because this was during COVID. I also didn't share that I was having shortness of breath and that I had a cough because they wouldn't have seen me because of COVID. When I met with the oncologist, that's when I let him know that I also was having shortness of breath. So he said, "Okay, let's run some more tests, do a CT, a bone scan, and see where you're at." So the breast cancer had metastasized to my lungs. I started with chemotherapy, 9 rounds of chemo, and I started to have intense pain in my back where it took me about 30 minutes to put my shoes on. I've been in the health and fitness profession for 30 years. I knew that that kind of pain was not something that, was not an injury. I didn't do something in the gym. So they sent me for emergency MRI. The MRI showed that I had bone mets. So I started radiation, and then I've been on oral chemo since, look, there's my cat, oral chemo since. So I'm a stage 4 cancer thriver with lung and bone mets. And I do believe in the power of the mindset. I do believe in controlling the controllables. I do believe in the power of movement, and that movement changes us. It is the ability to connect with how we feel. Self-care is something that is ours, that nobody can deny us. As a cancer patient, you feel as though you're relinquishing all of your control to the medical community. But what I am here to tell you is that we, the individual, retain control over an incredibly important piece of that care, which is self-care, the ability to move. When you stop moving, you die. It's powerful, even if it's just a walk to the mailbox, whatever it is. The power of movement also powers the power of the mind, because what tends to happen in a cancer diagnosis and a cancer journey is we lose ourselves. We start to feel sorry for ourselves. We start to kind of go in this space that just, it's our independence. What we knew ourselves, the person we knew ourselves to be, is somehow different. But when you can normalize your life and when you can control your controllables, those are all powerful, powerful things. And so when people ask me, are you sad? Are you mad? I'm not. And I'm not because I think who better to deliver the message and to change the narrative of what it is to be living with, through, and beyond cancer. I'm delivering that message. I'm here to tell you that it is not the end. It is part of the story, but it is not your entire story. We decide the narrative, and that is the biggest and most important piece of it all. And that's it. That's my story in a nutshell.
Wow. And I'm supposed to follow that. Well, I just want to say that I wrote that for Erica. And wow. There's so much that you just touched on that I want to go back to in like Jimmy Morrison said, hell yeah, Jungle Girl. Yeah. So much that you just touched on that I want to go back to in the group discussion because we're almost there. But my story briefly is I am now in my third major medical illness of my lifetime. And they say the third time's a charm. I'm looking at it that way as opposed to 3 strikes and you're out. So I am opting for the former. I was diagnosed at age 16 with stage 4 lung cancer. That was a solid 3-year battle. And I'm emphasizing battle because that's what I made it. It was 3 years of solid, high-level, poisonous chemotherapy hell, punctuated by 4 major surgeries. And as I heard Bart hint at before, said directly, I would take a major surgery over a chemotherapy any day. At the end of the 3-year battle, when I was 19, I was 85 pounds. I was bone white. I don't have a hair on my body. But beyond that, it's what was taking place in here that was all wrong and so differently than I think people like Erica and Sean and others have addressed it. I was angry. I was upset at the world. I did everything I would implore people not to do today to deal with something like this. I lived on McDonald's whenever I could eat, which was rarely. It'd be junk food. I did everything wrong. I got through it, I think, because my stepmom and my dad dragged me through it. That's all I can say. Years later, 2013 to 16, on my second major battle, it was not cancer related. Still, it was another 3-year battle in which, for the second time, I was pronounced terminally ill. I had a back surgery go awry. It got infected with MRSA and staph, which then went septic. It ate my spine very quickly. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but it eroded very quickly. I had 3 more major surgeries to clean out infection and try to keep the spine together. They pumped me so full of antibiotics, it killed both my kidneys. I ended up on emergency hemodialysis. And then for the cherry on top, I had 2 strokes. So that was also a 3-year battle, 2013 to 16. It was a different kind of battle for me. I wasn't angry. I was just checked out. I didn't care. I did my best to avoid the doctors, except when I had to go. I'm surprised I really made it there at all. I think I stayed alive for my dogs. Is that, as crazy as that may sound? I was on my own. I was all the things I described earlier, all at the same time as a result of how I treated it through being checked out. I was isolated. I self-isolated like Darnell did. I ended up out of work, out of a home, depressed, drug addicted, and basically pulling through it with my dogs. Somehow I got through it. I still don't know at this age if there's a God. Something got me through that other than myself and my own mindset. So flash forward to a year ago, I start the Cancer Warriors podcast. I am doing great in life by all outward markers, professionally, physically, health-wise, emotionally, socially, all of that. And I'm like, I want to do this podcast because I think I now understand what you should do if you're faced with something like this. And I wish I could go back in time and advise the old me. And then lo and behold, 4 months ago or 5 months ago now, I get a diagnosis, my third one in my life. Now it's stage 1 brain cancer. And my first thought, honest to God, was, okay, Rick, you've been doing this podcast for a year now. You better damn well practice what you've been preaching. And I got to say, I want to pat myself on the back and say that I believe I am doing that, practicing what I'm preaching these days. I wrote a long essay where I identify, I think, the 7 things, in my opinion, that are the most important components to face a life-threatening illness or a huge challenge. I have a 6-way tie for second, things like your medical care, nutrition, and all of that. Control the controllables, Jungle Girl said. I'll just touch on one of those components. I went from an okay diet to being fully vegan now, plant-based, gluten-free, sugar-free. It makes a difference. Number 1, though, and Darnell said it, and you've all touched on it, it's right here. And although I have cancer now, as crazy as this may sound to you, other than days that I'm sick, and I've been very sick lately from radiation, but that aside, I'm almost in a weird way glad that I'm facing this because I believe there's something to be learned from it. and it gives me a chance to finally do it right. And I think to help others at the same time. And that's my story.
I think there's a lot to be said about perspective, the age. I think at 16 years old, had I been diagnosed, I would probably be a very different person. I don't know that I would have had the wisdom and the perspective in life to go through it the way that I've gone through it now. So there's a difference in that. I think 16-year-old me probably would have been really angry and pissed off, but there is something to be said about purpose and how purpose allows us to overcome a lot of obstacles in life. When you feel that there's something that's driving you, that's bigger than yourself, that is an important piece of all of it, because otherwise, why do any of us get up in the morning, whether you've been diagnosed or not? What drives us to get up in the morning and to want to do better and to be better and to grow and to impact people? There's got to be something that makes us enthusiastic and that makes us want to get up. It's not even, it's deeper than anything like needing. It's wanting. It's the difference of like, yes, we have to eat and we have to do this, but what really drives you to get up in the morning? That's the biggest question.
Mhm.
That's true. Like with me, I take care of patients, which I take care of severe disease. And yes, cancer is a severe disease. It is to us. But I take care of, let's say, for instance, a patient who has ALS. And I would not wish this on anybody. And I've watched her. She was a socialite with a voice. She used to be able to eat, swallow. She can't do any of that now. Now she is just in bed waiting to die. And I'm taking care of her. So for that, and she's not the only one, there's been others. And that's my calling. And I think it helps me get through my journey because I see that and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not the only one in this. And to watch her still laugh, I'm able to get a laugh out of her, is amazing because I joke with her. And I'll even say, do you know what a half an ass is, Liz? I go, it's me. And I go, you're not the only one in diapers. I was in diapers. And she relates. I mean, those are the things that keep us going, whatever it is. I mean, listen, we're all fighters. We are strong because of what we went through. We are stronger than strong. And, Bart, the rectal cancer, they thought I had that. They cut out half my rectum to save that part. But you know where it's traveled? You're right. It goes to the liver. And the next part, the lungs. I have spots they're watching on my lungs. And I go, that's so weird. The lungs are up here and your butt's down here. Why does it go there and there? But that's just the way cancer is. It just has no... It's just going to land in your body wherever it wants to land. It's crazy, but we're here and we're here to help others through it, and we're all strong and God bless us all, Wow. And at 16, that's amazing because we have a lot of children. We went through, I took a couple of the other wrestlers. We went to the children's hospital with children with cancer. When you go in that cancer wing, everything just goes right out the window. You see these children smiling with IVs in their arms, getting there. They're going through their chemo. They're going through radiation. There's no hair. There's nothing. And they can barely move, but they're smiling because you're there at their bedside, making them laugh. And that you're their idol. Sonny, we love you, and right there, that's amazing. It takes what we have out. Children are so strong and they're so I don't know where they get it from.
There's always somebody, as we all know, there's always somebody that's got it worse. God bless them all.
Absolutely.
And then there's people, and we all know people like this. They stub their toe, and it's the biggest problem in the universe. So kind of on that note, geez, you were talking about checking out, isolating, being depressed, and you turned a corner. If there's somebody out there right now that's watching and listening to this, and no matter what the severity of their problem, in their mind, it's all over for them. What can you tell them? You have their attention right now. How can you help them out?
I would say to reach out to the people that's always been in your corner. That's what helped me. And also the fact that I have a 5-year-old daughter, and she's my reason for getting up every day and doing everything that I have to do to support my family. So I would say that. I would say if you're down and out and you're pretty much feel that you're done, reach out to the people that have always been in your corner. That'll definitely help, because those people that are in your corner, they're not going to allow you to be negative. They're going to stick by you no matter what. That's what's going to help you, most definitely.
Support system.
Yep.
Thank you. So
Mhm.
Bart, I know you're going through it right now, man. We've been talking. I know that you're in the midst of right now, you're on here, warrior. You're here to help people. So apart what you were going through right now, what can you say to help others that are facing? And we have some interference, folks. I don't know if you all heard that.
I would like to say something. We sit around and we talk. We talk about what's going on and everything with our lives and everything. But when we was brought into this world with absolutely nothing, and when we die, you go out with absolutely nothing. One thing through the whole process of what goes on is our faith and your faith and everybody's faith in Jesus Christ. You gotta give it up to Him. You gotta and all you can say really is God's will be done, because it don't matter if you're a millionaire. It don't matter if you're a billionaire. It don't matter if you held every strap in the world. When the good Lord calls your number, that's it. And it don't matter if it's cancer, if you get run over by a truck, you get run over by a train, or you go down from 36,000 feet in the air, and it doesn't matter to the point where you got to say, I ain't giving up. I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep fighting. I got a 6-year-old grandson in there that I got when he was 3 months old, and I've been raising him all this time. He's 6 years old now, and that is my power. That's where I draw my strength from. That's where I draw everything from. But I draw my strength from the good Lord, and it talk about that rectal when you're sitting on a pot, and you're trying to go poo, and it feels like fire coming out of your ass. It feels like somebody's just pounding it home. It don't. And you gotta just you think to yourself, listen, Lord, please take this away from me. But maybe it's better if we do go through it. If we can get on the other side of it and say, I can help somebody. I can help somebody with my mouth. I can help somebody. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. But in the end, we got to give it all up to the good Lord. I just wanted to get that in.
Thank you, man. I totally feel you, man. It's like when I got up this morning, Erica was saying, why do we get up? What are we excited about? And when I woke up this morning, and I've been pretty sick all day physically from the effects of radiation, but my first thing I thought of this morning was, hey, I get to do this wrestling with cancer thing tonight. This is super cool. And, and I look at Sean sitting there who, was by probably, by all intents and purposes, a pretty normal guy. I'm not saying you're abnormal now by any means, but, living his life. And then you get this diagnosis and you work your way through it. And now you are so freaking dedicated in what you're doing as the cancer fighter and helping others. I mean, how has that changed your life, this crusade that you're on now?
It's I was telling folks when I was doing the live stream before the show, it's not lost on me. And what's not lost on me is the fact that so many people have reached out to me, and I've had the pleasure interacting with so many people through social media. It's the most rewarding part of all of this. Like I said, and I truly did mean it, and interactions like I just described are what cements it, that, I'm an average person by most. I played 2 college sports. I tried my hand at wrestling when I was in high school, my senior year, and it unfortunately got cut short by, college football and having to go to college. And then my second time around trying wrestling, unfortunately, just as I was kind of getting the swing of things, I had gotten into an accident and broken my neck. So, to then be diagnosed with cancer, and like what Jeez had said, I had an experience through cancer and also an experience with breaking my neck where I was having to use a walker and I was in a wheelchair at some points. And, that kind of hurts you a little bit when you're a proud guy, it kind of humbles you a little bit and takes you down those pegs. And part of me thinks, and to touch on what Bart mentioned about the Lord above, part of me wonders if that was his way of kind of humbling me a little bit. But, coming back into, life after cancer, I would have never in a million years thought I'd be getting to sit here with any of you great folks, getting to share my story. And, now through trying to train and finally finish my story by continuing to wrestle yet again, hopefully, you guys can all consider me one of your colleagues, and that means a lot to me. But what means the most is, like I said, getting to interact with these people and knowing that somebody other than me is getting something out of this. And that's probably the coolest part about all of this. And this is really what keeps me going. What kept me going during cancer was my wife's daughter, my stepdaughter. I came into her life when she was 14 months old and I was sick, and now she's going to be 8. And my wife and I just welcomed a 4-month-old of our own 4 months ago. So our miracle baby. But my stepdaughter is what kept me going, and I'll tell her right to her face. So she's my favorite and always will be my favorite because of that. So, what I'm doing right now, I hope people are getting something out of it, but to hopefully show my daughters, what it means to live a truly good life by giving back to other people and living a life of service. So again, thank you for having me aboard with you guys. Really appreciate it.
Oh, Sean, it's our pleasure, man. And when people want to follow you, where do we seek you out?
You could find me at the Cancer Fighter, Sean Wachter, on Instagram, and there you could find my link tree, and that'll have all the cool stuff I've been up to. And there's some stuff in the works that I can't talk about quite right yet, but it's pretty neat. And like I said, I am definitely blessed to living this life where I hopefully get to do something to make somebody else want to chase their dreams still.
You can't even give us a little teaser?
I got to film some things with some neat folks that may be coming out this summer on a television level. The regular, so nothing to do per se with wrestling, but tomorrow I get to go meet with somebody in the wrestling community, and hopefully they have to like what I do, and we'll go from there.
That's it. We'll send all the good energy your way.
Thank you.
Yes, all the good vibes.
And then let us know.
Maybe, yeah. Hopefully, Rick could put in a good word for me.
Oh, you just gave me a hint. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They may be north of me. That's all I can say. And I'm on Long Island, so
that doesn't leave a lot of geography. Got it.
No.
Geez, where should we be? Not that we're wrapping up by any means, just while we're here. Geez, where should people be looking out for you if they want to follow your journey?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jeez215. That's JEEZ 215.
Geez, I want to know what the 215 is.
I'm from Philly, and 215 is the area code.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Are you an Eagles fan?
I am. I'm
All right.
I'm a Philly sports fan through and through. You know.
All right.
So in other words, you don't have any skin in the game tomorrow.
Nah, not at all. But who you guys got? I'd like I'd like Kansas City to take a loss. That's what I'd like.
I have
Yeah,
some-
I'm going for 49ers all the way.
I
Definitely.
am an unfortunate lifelong Jet fan, so
Mhm.
we will never get there, and I don't have to worry about it. So,
This
Yeah.
was supposed to be your year.
oh yeah, sure, and so will be next year, another, the other 39 years of my life that I've been promised. My
Yeah.
wife said it best. We're very fortunate that we have not had CPS called on us because I've chose to raise both of our daughters as Jet fans. So,
Now I have a question. What's the jersey in the back?
oh, that is actually my college jersey when I played at Alfred State. I believe it or not, was a 300-pounder in college. I was an offensive lineman. Now I walk around at around 215. So,
All right.
far cry and a whole new wardrobe.
Well, you're,
49ers, that's right, Ron. But I'm a Rams and Raiders girl, so I don't really care either one, but 49ers just because. But I do like Mahomes anyway. But you know what? Back to the kids. I think kids are the inspiration. My daughters and my grandsons saved me. That's why I'm still here, and I am continuing to be here because they need me. Without children, and of course my pets, my 2 cats were right there. Your cat was so precious. I have my 2 cats that snuggle, and then I have my 2 dogs, which is my daughter's dogs, but they're mine. But they wrap themselves around my leg. And when I was sick in bed, I think I was in bed for like almost 2 months. So it was just me and the Greek goddess, and that was my best friend, and nobody else, because it was COVID. I was like really isolated as well, in the hospital and out of the hospital. So they knew I was sick, and they never left my side. For people who don't like cats, just know cats are as smart as dogs and just as caring. I just had to say that because I love my cats.
Well, let's on that note, let's talk about some of the things that get us through it. I'm not a football fan. Can you tell? I'm switching the conversation back.
Yeah.
I like my wrestling, my tennis.
well, somebody commented that all sports are pro wrestling. Gotta go.
That's what it's all about. They're right. Let's
Welcome to the
talk
building.
about some of the tools that we need to get us through it. Geez, you talked about reaching out to a support system. There
Mhm.
are people that are newly diagnosed. They're just lost. Where does one start? Erica, you talked a lot about, or a little, I should say, about controlling the controllables. What does somebody have within their grasp? I mean, and geez, God bless you for having your daughter.
Thank you.
And
Thank
Sean,
you.
same with you and your children.
Thank you.
What did I want to boil down to brass tacks? And this is going to sound, it's not to sound negative, but it's to make a point. In my last medical go round, if you asked me what I had, I was so negative, guys. I would have said, I don't have anything. I don't have a friend I can call. I don't have a family member I can call. I don't have a roof over my head. This is how some of us get in these places. If someone doesn't have a ready resource at their side, this is a pop quiz now, and it's a tough one for everyone. They don't have a ready go-to at their side. Where can somebody reach out? What can somebody do to put one foot in front of the other and start moving? And that's a wide open question for whoever wants it.
Well, first of all, I think there's
Really?
enough support groups. There's groups out there.
Yep.
I happen to belong to one, which is a colon cancer group that I found effective, even for myself, to be in there that others can identify with.
Mhm.
So you're not all alone. There is all different types of cancer groups out there.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it starts from the hospital. When you're in the hospital with that, you have people that I had people that were praying for me. And when I woke up, I said, I'm not dead yet. Why are you praying? But they became very close to me. And yeah, because they do that in there too. Let's not forget, you have a support system inside. When I was in the oncology wing, you know, you have the preacher or whatever type of hospital you're in. I was in Mercy. So I had 2 assisted preachers that came in every day and it scared me because I thought, oh my God, do they know something I don't? What's going on? Because I'm not dying, I'm still here. And then I think if somebody doesn't have family or resources outside, I think they have it from within the hospital first.
Yep.
But
Yep.
again, it's the inner strength, it's our faith, whatever you believe in. If it's not God, you have your other spiritual faith. You could just be spiritual, but you have to have something to hold on to just grab. I mean, to get you through. You
Sonny,
know?
you know what? If you asked me that question that I asked, that would have been one of the very first answers I would have given. There's support groups out there. If you are without anything, if you don't have a car, you have something within walking distance of you that you can get to. If you can't walk, you can find a phone, call a support group. Somebody will pick you up to get you there. You know, I'm now like reaching out to the people that don't believe they have any tools at their disposal. Because I always am a firm believer in giving people a place to start and doing stuff that they can like grab onto and do today. So, Sonny, not that I was looking for that answer, but I think you hit it spot on. So there's a big one. Find a support group. You can do that tonight. Erica, you had your hand up.
No, I said, call me. I'll talk.
Yeah. Yeah,
Talk.
exactly.
There's
Exactly.
your support group.
We're all available, you know, I'm there too. And you know, it's funny. I get a lot of this and they're like, are you Sonny? Well, you know what happened to the other Sonny. Before they say anything, I'm like, oh boy, we're going there again. Yes, I know Sonny is in prison, you know, and hey, she called her journey. That's her journey for what she did. But I go, let's get back to this at hand. It's so funny because they think I know her that well. I go, no, she's just lucky because I was the first Sonny. She was the second. So we joke about it. But you got to lift up, I think, first. Also, joking about cancer is okay. It is okay. Let's face it. Laughter, you can laugh about it. I make jokes about it because that's my way of dealing with it. You know, when I say I was a baby face, but I'm a heel because I'm half an ass now and I'm really an ass, you know, but I'm half. So there's comedy factors in it to motivate. And otherwise, what are you going to do? Feel sorry and start crying about it? No, because that's going to make it worse. You know what I mean? It does. It takes you to all different places we don't need to go. We definitely don't. We want
Jungle Girl. What else? What's something else somebody can do, Jungle Girl?
As far as what they can do for help,
Yeah, what somebody that doesn't believe they have any resources available to them, what's something they can do tomorrow to take a step forward as opposed to a step backwards? This is me asking you for advice when I was out on the streets 12 years ago.
it's, you know, part of it is tough because it depends on what each individual's circumstances are. And it depends on why they feel as though there's no one they can reach out to or nothing that they can do. And so, no, she's not that Sunny. I think it's trying to even just, sometimes even just read a book. Sometimes find something. I always tell people, I'm like, laugh at something. Find something that makes you laugh. Read something that inspires you. You know, find a book, go to the library, read something. Find a story, somebody that moves you in some way, whether it's the same type of situation that you're going through or not. There are stories of people that have been on incredible journeys and have found something that have turned that kind of sorrow into joy. And sometimes it's just knowing that you're not alone in your sorrow. Sometimes that's faith, just saying a prayer and hoping that, you know, someone answers in a way. But just to, I mean, I think that everybody has the ability to get connected in some way in this day and age. and just to look at someone's story of somebody that's overcome, and be inspired by somebody, and just read something every single day, just little laugh.
I want to comment on exactly what you just said, combined with the comment that James, who's watching this, made. His was very like, I'm hearing you, Erica, and what I'm hearing
Oh,
is,
yes, we talked about that.
yeah. But what I'm hearing from you is you're saying you have a choice of what you're going to expose yourself to and put into your brain. And James was very specific. He's saying his family's mental health has improved since they stopped watching the news. So 5 months ago, I keep forgetting, when I was diagnosed, I made a bunch of changes. I was doing pretty well already, but as I mentioned, I changed my diet. And I could, even though I don't want to keep saying I'm sick, but I am physically, but I feel the difference in my very makeup from the change in nutrition. And James, I stopped reading and watching CNN and Fox and Breitbart and Mother Jones, because I'm one of those weird guys who looks at the left, looks at the right, looks at the center, because I want all the perspectives. But I realized what that was doing to my brain is just making me unhappy about every side that I read, because it's all negative. And I replaced that with Erica going. Who here, by show of hands, will admit to ever wasting any time looking at stuff on social media?
Oh, I think all of us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's like I made a choice where I started going like onto Google and searching inspirational story about, and fill in the blank, incredible survival stories, coming back from the abyss or whatever. And Erica, you're right. Every one of those you read, it fills your mind with like something positive. And then what happens? It's like Sean, 250 pounds, still all jacked up. You go to the same with you. You go to the gym, you build that muscle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think every day you can make a choice to build that muscle right here.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
we all have that within our immediate control. I don't sound preaching, and that wasn't my intent here, but I come from like where I was, which was surrounded by people like myself at the time, which was, I got nothing, I don't know what to do. So it makes me very focused on the things that we can do right now. So I love, Erica, that you were talking about make the choice what you put in your brain.
Well,
Mhm.
and it's not always easy when you feel hopeless, and sometimes it's just you have to force yourself to do those things, to want to be in a different space. I think we all want to feel like we're a part of something. Letty had mentioned being part of a community in Dwarfasm. I think that when you can be part of a community, whether that's your church, whether that's some type of, group fitness, whether that's some type of organization that you're involved in, when you feel that you're a part of something, then you feel connected. And that's also a support network. So sometimes it's just, I tell people, go into a coffee shop and just sometimes sit and just people watch. And sometimes that just taking your mind off of what is happening and what you perceive your life to be in that moment, and just disconnecting and just watching. Sometimes there's therapy in that too, in just watching, listening to the conversations, seeing whether or not people are connected with one another. Are they all looking at their phones? What's happening in the world? But from the perspective of watching it happen right in front of you. And sometimes that disconnect in a way where you feel like you're interacting, but don't even have to interact, can be a powerful mechanism as well.
Exactly.
Everybody has a community that they're a part of. Not everybody goes to church. Not everybody has a million friends. And they do feel, and especially with a cancer diagnosis, it feels isolating. And I would say, my father-in-law was diagnosed 3 times with cancer, and I never really understood what he was going through until I myself started with my cancer journey and realized, oh shit, this is real, and it's different than I expected it to be. And you don't really know until you know. And so I think that just be there for one another as humans as much as we can. I think that sometimes you're talking about reach out to your support network, but hopefully your support network is also reaching out to you and they're checking in to see, how you're doing. I don't like to be asked, how are you feeling? I just want somebody to be like, yo, Erica, what's up? You want to hang out? You want to do something? I don't like everything to get back to a cancer conversation. And I think that I can keep it as far removed from that and normalize my life as much as I possibly can. That's where the joy comes in, when my focus becomes on other people and their life and what they need and how can I help you and how can I be of service. That fills me. And sometimes that's just little steps of observing people. And maybe, geez, I observe you and I'm like, dude, how are things? How's your daughter?
She's good.
Yeah.
She's good. Yeah, definitely.
What is she? Is she in school?
Yeah, she's in school. She's in kindergarten. She takes gymnastics. So like that's and we have her gymnastic stuff here at the house. So she's practicing at home. She goes to class and I just love seeing her do it. You know what I mean? I've been an athlete all my life and watching her do her thing and enjoying it. I love it.
Yeah. It's nice to talk about the things that you like.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. And going back to what you were saying, yeah, so my support system, like, and my friends, like, they would call me and it wasn't just to talk about cancer. It's like, how are you doing? Let's go out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like a doom and gloom conversation. You know what I mean? Like they just kept it the same way that it always was, even before the diagnosis. And that's good too, because just having a conversation about that, I mean, it can be depressing. But when your friends don't change how they interact with you because of it, that keeps you going too, So that's definitely a good thing.
I think that's a really important piece. And
Yeah.
I think for some people, they don't always know how to behave.
Right. Right.
I think they don't always know, what am I supposed to act? You ask, how am I supposed to act? When they don't know. And I think, hey man, just be my friend.
Yeah,
Just,
exactly.
do the same things you always did. Ask me the same questions you asked me before.
Yep.
And I think when we can start to normalize our life, it's pretty great.
Absolutely.
Kids are pretty good. That's why, kids are pretty good like that. They keep it real.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Hopefully our friends keep it real too.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and normalizing is so important. You're right. Some friends will treat you with kid gloves. Others can't talk about it at all. Others are just like super real. And, as far as like getting out and about and interacting and observing, Erica, I love that you said that and you suggested that. It's like one thing that I started doing on my journey back, I guess I would call it that, back from negative steps every day. I used to say I took 3 steps forward and 19 steps back. But now my forward steps are a lot greater than my backward steps. And one of the things that got me there is I'd go out, so I feel like there was nothing else to do. And I would make a very definitive effort I told myself the first 5 people that I come into contact with today, I'm just going to be super nice. And it's like, if I have to fake it at first, it's like fake it to make it. And don't worry about how they respond. I mean, you know the old adage, you go into a grocery store, the clerk is having a miserable day, you smile and say something nice, you might change their day. And you see that happen more often than not. Every now and then you'll do that. You'll get the reaction that you don't want, but so what? So I would go out and say the first 5 people I'm going to be super nice to, no matter the reaction. I'm just going to keep it positive. And that got to a point where if I did that 5 times, then I'd want to do it automatically on the 6th one and the 7th one. And that was just like one little thing that worked for me. I just wanted to throw that in there, apropos of nothing else.
Well, I guess something that I would toss in, you know, if you don't have a support system or you don't have a crowd of folks around you, or regardless of the situation, the most important thing is I wouldn't give up your ability to advocate for yourself. Rick, as you were talking about, this is a really important muscle to work out. And, you know, like I said before, and I mentioned G's and his story with he was having to use the walker to get around, and I had to do that myself. It's challenging when you get humbled like that, when you pride yourself on being an athlete your entire life, and then you're basically told like, hey, guess what? Like your normal exercise routine is not going to be on the table. For me, I didn't get to go back to exercising until my stroke, until it was 6 months afterwards, and even then, it was just some yoga, which I was able to at least get a feel for getting out there and moving again, and then eventually getting back into weightlifting, and then years after the fact back into wrestling. But you know, exercising your mind, you know, obviously we don't want to inundate ourselves with constantly being focused on our disease or workarounds with our disease, but it is important to educate yourself and to maintain that level of advocacy, because like I said earlier on, you know, all the reverence and respect to our clinicians and physicians, but they're just like us. They're human and they can make mistakes. So don't be afraid to ask why, because sometimes if you don't have a support system around you, there won't be anyone to ask why for you. And you know what? Educate yourself. You know, a fantastic support system that I found outside of the bunch of high school and college football teammates that I had that rallied around me was going online, and I found a melanoma patient forum. And on that forum, I was able to find people that had gotten leptomeningeal disease. I had found people that were stage 4 that had brain mets and lung mets like I did. And I found people that were going through some of the different treatment modalities like I had, whether it had been the oral chemo or the immunotherapy. So it armed me with knowledge of what may come, and it armed me with the knowledge to go to my doctors and go, hey, could we do this in the now? Is this right for me? So I guess, like I said, if you don't have someone around you, or if you do, make sure you advocate for yourself and never surrender that ability.
Sean, that's so great. And that's like one of my 6 things that are tied for second is self-advocacy, because you really have to take control as much as you can. And at a certain point, you have to give it up to the doctor.
Of course.
You made your choice. But you're 100% right. And I think it was very aligned with what Sonny was talking about as well. When you find these different types of groups you can engage with. And Sean, this is for you and for Bart and for G's. There's a Facebook group, just for instance, called Man Up with Cancer. So sorry, Sonny, sorry, Jungle Girl, you guys don't qualify. It's a boys only group. But it's where this like amazing group of guys who are all going through different types of cancer, they get together and they just talk real shit. And it's super supportive, super uplifting. So any one of you guys went out and like asked to join tonight, you're going to be admitted immediately. And you're going to have 200 guys right there who are like ready to be there for you. That stuff does exist out there. It's
yeah, and there's things like that all over. I mean, there really are a lot of, I mean, you have to pick and choose. Obviously, it's like with anything else, you're going to find your people. Sometimes a lot of the groups can be negative and they, you know, not in the space that you want to be in. So you have to pick and choose the groups that you want to be involved with. Do they lift you up? Do they serve who you are as a person? And I want to back into kind of life and kind of reverse engineer life. And so something that I did a long, long time ago was I wrote my obituary before I was ever diagnosed with cancer. And I wanted to write how I wanted to be remembered. Part of that was using the quote, if the world was blind, who would you impress? But aside from all of that, the important piece for me was, how do I wish to be remembered? And now it is my responsibility to live my life aligned with how I want to be remembered. And that is a really, really powerful force for me. How do I want my son to remember me? My son is 15. How do I want my friends and my colleagues and my husband, how do I want to be remembered by these people. And you damn well better live your life according to that. And that is a beacon that helps me with the choices that I make every single day. That helps me with everything. That really causes me to be aligned, and to my actions to really be aligned with who I am as a person and how I choose to be remembered.
Exactly. I think that's a really good point for all of us. I mean, listen, we're all human, just like the doctors are human, our families are human, and they love us and they need us and we need them. And yeah, to be remembered, that's funny, because here's the other thing, speaking on obituary, on another note, now that we have cancer, on the paper, you have to check the boxes. Are you disabled? I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not disabled. I'm an athlete. Oh, wait a minute. It says if you have cancer. And I'm like, oh God, I gotta check. I mean, that changes your life. Now we're in the disabled category, whether we like it or not. I can't lie. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie and not check. They have to know I have cancer on here. So that's the other thing that has changed.
What are you filling out?
Whether it's a job interview, nurse. As a nurse, I get asked that all the time. And you have to take your classes. I just did a dementia class, and on there, you have to check, I'm disabled, because it asks you, like, do you have this, diabetes, cancer's in there. And that's considered a disability.
See, and I'm sorry, I don't want to become argumentative here, but my whole thing with clicking that box is this. I'll gladly raise my hand and say I'm disabled, because there is ability and disability. And I don't want people to take anything away from themselves because they have to click a box. I'll go and click 7 different boxes. I still go out there and wrestle every day. I still go ahead and finish my MBA. I still get my 2 girls up in the morning. I still go to the gym every damn day. So yeah, I'm disabled, but I find great ability in my disability. So
Right. And that's what I do too. I check that box. But I wonder,
Hell yeah, Sean.
that box, right? If they look at us differently.
well, you know what? I think people
Disabled.
I
No,
think
I'm fine.
I'm sorry. I think people look at me and say, how can there be anything wrong with this guy? I have over 16 neck and back fusions. I still get in the ring and do my thing, which probably is not the smart thing for me to be doing, but I realize that I'm getting to chase my dream and people are getting something out of this. I enjoy frequently, when I'm not doing my day job working as a corporate head of office for a marketing company, I like to walk around with all my tattoos hanging out and have people think I don't make anything more than ape noises. It's just because someone looks at you one way doesn't define who you are. And that's what I love doing more than anything else, is when I get to open this, people are like, oh, he knows more than 5 syllables. And it's great. I love it. So yeah.
Right.
I'll gladly walk around all day long telling everyone I'm disabled until I'm blue in the face, and then until I'm purple in the face, until I can't talk no more. So
Great way to look at it, man.
Yes.
So big subject change. Bart, as I've said earlier, we know you're going through it. What's good in your life right now? What are you excited about in life right now?
Good question.
Not a damn thing, brother. I thank the good Lord that I can still roll out of bed and set one foot on the floor and say that feels pretty good, and set the other on the floor and say, hey, that feels pretty good. Thank God, give me another day. Appreciate it. And I try. I mean, y'all talked about motivation, and man, my motivation right now is on Monday morning getting up, shoving some food in my mouth that I don't want to eat. I have to eat it because I got to take those 4 chemo pills. Then you turn around and you drive up there and get the stinking radiation, and then have to eat something because of that, and have to eat something after that, and then get home and have to take them dadgum radiation, the chemo pills, And for that, for, what motivates me is my old lady, Linda, which I love her with all my heart. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sitting here with y'all today if it wasn't because of that lady. She has made me do what I'm supposed to be doing. One of them is surviving, and it's a survival for me. Every day is a gift, and I appreciate I appreciate everything and everything God has ever done for me. At times in my life, it didn't look like I was a Christian, but I always have been, always will be. Uh, when they told me I was going to, this stuff can kill you. I said, well, it may kill me, but I ain't going nowhere till the good Lord calls me home. And when I die, I'm going to do it. I'm going to fall straight forward. And then my spirit is going to jump up out of that body and go straight to heaven with all the things. If I've gained anything in this lifetime, my reward is in heaven. I mean to go back to Christian, to my God, to my Savior, to my. He is my deliverer. He is my everything. Oh man, and I don't want to act like I'm preaching or anything like that, but like brother said a while ago, everybody has got to believe in something. You can't just believe in nothing. You got to believe in every one of us has got to believe in something. And if it's Buddha, then you die, you go and you believe in that. You believe in that. That's what, and it's not, rather it being wrong in somebody else's eyes or wrong in somebody else. It don't matter. It's what's right in here. It's what's right in your heart. That's where we're, and that government, I hate, oh man. And I'm not patting myself. I've been around, like I said, I've been around the world 3 times. I've held damn near every major belt there was to hold in my sport. And I was a football player. I was, and I dedicated all to the good Lord. Every bit of it, I give Him all the praise and all the glory, brother. And a while ago, it's not because this is boring or anything like that, but I'm sitting here going to sleep because I'm used to being up this late.
We'll wrap up soon.
I'm sleepy, brother.
But man, I got to say this about your answer. I got to say this about your answer, Bart. At first, like we said, what are you excited about? And you said not a damn thing. And all this time later, I hear nothing but enthusiasm and excitement in your voice. And I think that's pretty damn good. And I hope that we'll be friends, God willing, for a good long time.
You're muted.
I love
Bart.
y'all.
You're muted.
Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here as long as the good Lord will have me. And like I said, when He calls me home, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Praise the Lord. I'm sorry.
You're good and feisty. You're good and feisty.
Yeah, fantastic. Because I know it is getting late. We've been on for a while. So, Erica, do we have wrap up questions? We didn't plan anything out, but what are we feeling now? You like the question about what are you excited about in life? Can we throw that one to G's real quickly and hear what's like?
Well, I want a 2-part.
Yeah, please.
What are you excited about? And what does life look like 1 year from now?
Great.
What I'm excited about is my family, my little girl, and getting back in the game again. I was out of wrestling for for a year, you know, and I'm excited to be back in it. Looking forward to what's coming up. And a year from now, we'll be moved out of Philly because Philly is a hellhole now. You know what I mean? Philadelphia. I think a year from now things are going to be looking great. You know what I mean? Just got to keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? And just make sure that everything is positive and good.
If not Philly, where?
Probably just outside, probably a suburb outside of Philly. You know what I mean? We like Jersey, but you know, definitely getting out of Philly though.
All right. You're going to have to change the 215.
Yeah, well, that it is what it is because Philly is not where it is anymore. You know.
Well,
Yeah.
Erica, keep her going, please.
who's next? All right. I want to know the same thing. I want to know, Sonny, what are you looking forward to? What excites you when you wake up in the morning, and where do you see your life a year from now?
When I put on my scrubs and I go take care of others that need me. And of course, my family, my daughters, my beautiful daughters, and my 2 grandsons. I'm truly blessed there. To wake up in the morning, that is right there, just to wake up in the morning. And I thank you, Lord, for bringing me through another night to the morning. And of course, I'm sunny for a reason, to see the sun, right? I have events coming up this year. I'll be out there again. I have a new encyclopedia again with Rocky Johnson, the late, great Rocky Johnson, and Jack Hager. I've got my other comics out there. You know, I'll be out there signing autographs at those. And the CAC, the Cauliflower Alley Club, which I'm a big movement with them. I thank them for helping me. They helped me get through a lot. So join the Cauliflower Alley Club if you get a chance. Come meet everyone there. It's a big congregation. You all are familiar.
Sonny, I have to interrupt, but I want to finish your answer. But when's the next CAC gathering, the big annual one?
It is this year, the end of August.
And guys, we should all try to go. That would
Yeah.
be super cool.
It is very, very cool. Very, very cool. But yeah, helping others, that's going to rise and shine. That's my thing. And, you know, all right here for all of you. So we have each day a successful day, thriving through and with cancer and on our journeys. I wish you all luck. You guys are all amazing. I'm truly blessed to be on here. Thank you.
I love it. You know, something that I often say is that we have this moment and then it's gone. And we're only promised this very moment. So what are you doing with this moment? And so, yeah, love it.
That's it. And on here, this very moment, to reach out to as many people as we can that are listening and that are on here. You know, we're all special. We're all great. And we're super strong. And thank you, God. Thank you. Yes.
Sean, the cancer fighter.
Well, I guess it's got to be, you know, my girls and my wife. You know, it's constantly getting up every morning and keep going for them to, you know, try to make sure that they have the most comfortable life they can have. You know, I learned from my father that's you got to do what you got to do to make sure that all the things are taken care of. As far as a year from now, oh gosh, a year ago, if you would have told me I'd be sitting here talking to all of you, I'd be smacking myself in the face going, this is a dream, whatever, because I'm so honored to be even mentioned in the same breath as of all you guys. But hopefully in a year from now, we're still keeping the wrestling going, still training hard. You know, my ultimate end game is to hopefully be connected with one of the national promotions in a out of ring capacity, working in one of their community outreach departments, because that's ultimately what I'd like to do with my MBA. I'm very fortunate with my job now, and I would love to continue to grow with my company. But at the end of the day, if you were to say you want to go work for Walt Disney, of course, not exactly work for Disney, but you know what I mean. I want to continue to work in wrestling, but, you know, work in a way that I could keep making it the rock in the storm that it's been for so many people, like it's been for me. So everyone out there, just not to be cliche, but keep fighting. We're all in this together. We're all in the same rock floating around the sun. So be good to one another.
Yeah, that's the truth. But Bart,
Amen. Yeah.
look, he's you muted yourself.
Cancer,
Bart, there you are. Bart, you were on mute. There you are. You were on mute.
I'm blessed just to, like I was saying a while ago, just get out of bed and put one foot on the floor and thank God that I'm still here. I've got a, and I don't know if this is the right place or to do, but I've got a new book that I just wrote, and
Absolutely.
you can get
Absolutely.
it. I mean, you can get it at Asheville.com or Russellville.com or Amazon. No, and I don't mean to be, I don't want to take nothing from what we've said here for the last 2.5, 3 hours, or however how long it's been, talking about cancer and fighting cancer, and the fight for me is right now in this given moment is to get through get through the radiation, get through the chemo and the radiation, and get to the CAT scan or whatever it's going to tell me, if it's working or it's not working. And they told me that they're going to have to go in, that old John Wayne movie, Shootist. It's the last movie John Wayne made. He asked the doc, he said, "What can you do?" Doc told him, said, "You're gonna, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt." And he said, can't you cut it out, Doc?" He said, "I'd have to gut you like a fish." And pretty much that's what I think about when you talk about surgery. For me, my deal is they're going to go in. They're going to cut out my rectum. They're going to cut out my pancreas, and they're going to cut out my colon. And with that, then I'll be on a pee bag and a poo bag, which it's very, very hard. It's very, very hard for me to, at things that I've done and things that I've accomplished, and it's very, very hard for me to talk about, and I don't want to be a vegetable. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be any of those things on anybody. I want to, every minute of my life, I live for God till the day He calls me home. That's the way I want it to be. I don't want to be a veggie. I don't want to, my mother had rheumatoid arthritis. We did all the cooking. We did all the cleaning. She was in a wheelchair, and my mama fought from the day that I can remember to the day that she died. She fought, and I mean, she fought. She was Pentecostal, and I mean, and I inherited that fight because I ain't rolling over and I ain't playing dead. But it's hard, brother. It is hard when you live the kind of life that we have all lived, and to wake up one morning and go in and, I did a colonoscopy, and I'd done them before, and I damn near bled to death from the first one I done. They had to pump blood into me, but and it all rolls off on like water on a duck's back. It's just simple as getting out of bed, putting one foot on the floor, putting the other foot on the floor, and saying, "God bless you, and thank you for letting me get through the night. Thank you Thank you. Thank you. God bless.
Listen, Rick, you got that voice, and that voice is powerful. Nothing's taken that voice. So you keep using that voice. What's the name of the book? What's the name of your book?
It's Rational Black Bart. Wait a minute, let me see. I wasn't planning none of this, but there's a book. It's called Rational Black Bart. It's like a wanted. It's like a wanted. It's like a wanted poster. It's got stories. Some stories in there. I'm sure they a lot of people call me a liar, but I lived it. I done it. I lived it, and I know it ain't a lie. So
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna order on Amazon.
Do what, Rick?
I'm gonna order on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
I'm gonna order on it.
Yeah, or you can get on at Rational.com. You can get them on there. I never thought this is one of my accomplishments right here that I never thought that I would get done, because I was an athlete in high school, coming up through high school, and back when I was an athlete, if you failed the test, you got sent to the locker room, and then the book was sent to the locker room, and then the test papers, all new ones were sent, and you got to go through the book and find the answers and fill it out. And that's where you got an education. Okay. And, I didn't get a very good education. Well, I was just a dumb athlete going through it. And, I read and write. I'm just now, getting where I can text a little bit, not very much, but I can spell I, and that's terrible, ain't it? I got a high school education, went to college on football scholarship, but I didn't stay in college but 4 days. That's why I'm so stupid, I guess. But they said, and that's why this book, this thing right here is such accomplished. It's like winning the NWA strap, brother. It's because I can't write, I can't spell. But the old boy, Vinny, the guy that wrote this, he taped my stories, and then he wrote it. He put it on paper. He put it on paper, brother. And it's like, I asked Vinny, I said, Vinny, was you in my pocket? What's going on? Was you in my pocket during that time? I mean, he becomes the character, and he become Black Bart, and he's big enough to be me too. But back to what we're here for is to pray to God that our children, if this can help do anything to protect, and keep them well. Like I said, when I do die, I want to dedicate my body to science for anything that can help, where my children, my grandson, they don't have to go through it, and I don't want them to have to go through it. I want it to pass them by. And with that being said, that's something.
You are a smart man. You married a woman who loves you, takes care of you, and you wrote a book. That's a great accomplishment. You've done some amazing things. And I don't know what the true, test or sign of intelligence is, but intelligent and smart are here in your heart, here, your actions. And you've done some great things. You've lived a great life. You've written a book that we're all going to read about, and we'll believe them because you wrote them. So I think you're a smart man. Smart man.
Thank you, darling.
Erica, let's get
You just muted yourself, Rick.
I did. I'm sorry, you guys. I did mute myself. I had 5 dogs barking at something. Sorry, everybody. Erica, let's get close to wrap up. If you want to take us home, maybe let us know what you're excited about and what your year looks like next year. So I'll bet you have some very definitive goals in mind.
Well, I have a lot of definitive goals. I have, I am many things. I am a wife, a mother, a business owner, many things. I also have a nonprofit, which I'm looking to expand. I partnered with the Cancer Exercise Training Institute, which has the highest qualification of certified cancer exercise specialist. And so we have partnered with Andrea Leonard, who founded the CETI group, and we are providing services to cancer patients throughout the United States to empower them to move through cancer, to control an aspect of care, which is theirs, self-care. Movement has been a huge piece in my entire journey. It changed me. For those that don't know what endorphasm is the moment during movement that you feel all things are possible. It's connecting to the power of the feeling of the power. Sometimes that's walking, sometimes that's yoga. Sorry, I told Rick I have a paralyzed vocal cord, so I struggle talking in long sentences, but I think when you can connect and you can feel something, that changes how you operate in life. As athletes, we know, and I think that's part of what changes us is when that aspect of our life changes, when we can't push as hard, or we don't take the bumps and we feel different and we feel, odd. I think that the thing in life is to realize there are changes, and every few years we change and we have to reevaluate. And just because I can't push like I did 5 years ago doesn't mean that makes me less than. And I think that's a really important thing with an aging athlete, or when, we have something that happens with our health, is to really step back and to look at the person we are, the entirety of the person that we are. And so I really am on a mission to change the narrative of what it means to be a cancer patient, what it means to be living with, through, and beyond cancer. And so that is my goal, is to have launched the Endorphasm Foundation in all 50 states. Whether that happens in a year, I'm not sure, but I dream big. It is a legacy. I intend to leave it way beyond when I'm gone, and certainly growing my own business. Those are all things that I really focus on, and I focus on my own joy and passion, and making sure that I'm a good partner, a good mother, and a great friend. And those are all important to me. So lots of things to do.
And Erica, how do we look up the Endorphasm Foundation if we want to learn more?
Endorphasmfoundation.org.
All right.
You are a nonprofit, a 501c3.
Okay,
So,
Erica, Bart and I barely made it through like 3 weeks of college. I think I have 2 weeks of college more than he does. So for those of us who might be a little challenged, how does one spell endorphasm?
So endorphasm is ENDORPHASM.
Thank you. Foundation.org.
Look, Letty put it, endorphasm exclamation point in the comments. So,
Good job, Letty. Oh gosh, guys, this was great. This was a special privilege for sure. I really, really appreciate it. My goal is just to like out- outwardly to continue doing things like this, and my little world of podcasts. And if I can build that to a point where that's all I get to do to support these guys, then that makes me happy because I find it's very fulfilling, it's self-fulfilling, and I love getting to connect with people and even get the types of comments we got tonight. Because Sean, you and I have talked about it. If we can get through, if what we've gone through can get through to even one person, then we've scored in life, and
That's all we need.
that's what it's all about. Personally, my goal is to keep making these small shifts, shifts that are positive ones. Like, I wake up with 5 dogs in the house, and it's easy to get annoyed at the little things dogs do, right? Like step on your face while you're still sleeping, whatever it might be. But for me now, it's like, I swear to God, I wake up every day. I'm like, oh my God, I got these 5 great pit bulls. This is the best thing ever. And I want to make that kind of shift in every aspect of my life. I feel like I'm doing well in that regard. Big goal, Erica. I think you might appreciate this because you're always on keep moving. Now, I just had my follow-up MRI yesterday, so I don't know where I am in my cancer journey yet. I'll know 2, 3, 4 days from now. We all know it takes a minute for the MRI to come back. So it's either surgery or more radiation, maybe chemo, maybe none of those things. But I can look you all in the eye through our camera lenses here and say, on a stress scale of 1 to 10, how stressed I am about what I'm going to find out. Honest to God, I'm at a 0. And that tells me that I've made some good shifts, and I want to continue to make those shifts. And assuming that I'm done with all this stuff, and I can't make that assumption, my goal a year from now with the movement and everything else, I'll be 63 at that point, is to be far and away in the best freaking shape of my life. Rather than going, I'm 62 and I have cancer. Oh man, poor me. How am I going to get through this? What's my life going to be like after? I absolutely believe there's a possibility yet for my best life to come. So my goal is to find that best life, whatever that might look like.
I think, our journey never ends. Our best is always under construction, and we don't arrive until, till the good Lord takes us. So it's, we are a work in progress. So I want to say that another goal of mine is that we make this Cancer Warrior podcast explode, because there's a lot of people that want to hear some positive messages and some, all the quirks. And like I told you, it's not going to be perfect, and that's part of the perfection of it.
Exactly. And Bart, keep walking because it's good for the butt. Let's walk.
I love that we're all ending on these whimsical notes like that, Sonny. And I have something that is even more profound. Wilson,
more profound than it's good for the butt.
Guys, here it is. Wilson wanted to show you his impersonation of a vicious pit bull. So there you go, right there.
Oh, he's so sweet. Look at that face. Oh my gosh.
It's so good to be here with all of you. Erica, amen to that. Let's not only keep it going, but build it and get exactly to what you articulated so well, because I'm not finding the words. Thank you.
I don't believe you're at a loss for words, Rick Bassman.
I'm there.
Get your rear and gear, get your screenings. That's
I will. Yes, do all of those things. I will tell you, I'm going to leave you guys on a funny note. So Rick had booked me for a match in like Laughlin, Nevada or something. And I had never done a tag team match. And I was like, I'm not sure about this, Rick. I don't know what I'm doing. And he goes, you don't question your bookings.
Hold on. First of all, I'm disavowing any knowledge or recollection of this story at all. But Erica, please refresh me.
It was well, it was supposed to be Looney Lane and Sasha,
Okay.
but one of them didn't show up, and you threw me in the ring. I forget with Nikki, the knockout.
Oh, wow. That
She was
sounds,
in-
this sounds like a 5-star in the making is all I can say.
But anyhow, I remember that vividly. You don't question your bookings. All right.
Right, fair enough on that. I like to think I'm a kindler, gentler version of that these days, but I'm probably fooling myself, so who knows. But Jeez and Bart and Sonny and Sean, the cancer fighter, and Jungle Girl, my dear co-host and friends all, thank you so much for being here tonight. This was such a great experience. And as Erica's saying, let's please do it again.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Thank you.